Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a pretty particular episode of the CV Central podcast. Obviously, this isn't a podcast, but I just want to give my thoughts on the NBA playoffs that started today. Obviously, the first game started up today, and I thought that maybe you guys would enjoy these YouTube videos that I upload throughout the playoffs and maybe some other stuff. Maybe you guys would want to see me or see my other host, Chris, talk about what we think is going to happen in the mock draft. Maybe we upload our own mock drafts. So starting with the Clippers Nuggets, Clippers obviously were on a heater coming into this series. The Nuggets obviously fire Mike Malone 5 games prior to the playoffs starting. With the Clippers, Michael Porter Jr. only having 3 points throughout the entire game, which to me caught me off guard. Aaron Gordon obviously had 25. Jokic is going to give you his. I believe he had 29 today. Jamal Murray had 21, I believe. But just watching the game, obviously through the fourth quarter, it was 85-85, I believe. And it was just hard snout defense. There's no other way around it. Hard snout defense. It was great playoff basketball defense. And that's what you expect coming from that defensive Clippers team and from that Nuggets team. Obviously, the Nuggets a little shorthanded with Mike Malone. It's going to be interesting to see how their new interim head coach is going to how is he going to respond against the Clippers? Obviously, the Clippers were in control for most of the game, and then the Nuggets forced OT and squeaked by. The Nuggets are pretty interesting in this one. I feel like Jokic is the best player in the world, but the Clippers are just the better team, in my opinion. I still think that the Nuggets are going to win this series, but I still think that the Clippers are still the best team. And that's just because of how great Nikola Jokic is. There's no other way around it. He single-handedly kept him in the game. Obviously had 29, 12, and 9, I believe. I think he was one rebound shy of a triple-double. But Jokic, best player in the world. And I will repeat that over and over and over. Jokic is going to go down. In my opinion, he's already a top 5 center all time. And I don't think that's arguable. You got great centers. You got Wilt, Shaq. Bill Russell is an all-time great. Hakeem Olajuwon. You can go on and on and on. David Robinson, an underrated center that doesn't get talked about as much. But other than Shaq and maybe Wilt, I wouldn't put them. Maybe Hakeem. I wouldn't put them over Nikola Jokic right now. Jokic, in my opinion, is one of the best centers and a top 5 center all time right now. As for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, 22 and 6. Zubac, who's been playing as one of the most underrated centers in the entire league right now, all year. They're not just like this span that he's had. Zubac has been playing as a top 5 center all year, and he's making it clear in the playoffs, having a 21 and 13 game. James Harden, 32, 11, and 6 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field. Norman Powell started. Maybe how do the Clippers adjust to this? They obviously had Nick Batum, who gave them 3 threes off the bench. They had Derrick Jones Jr., who gave him 4 points off the bench. But other than that, you had Ben Simmons, you had Bogdanovich get 13, 12 minutes in a heavyweight fight playoff match, and they give you 0 points to show for it. You obviously could have put Patty Mills in. You could have put Miller in. You could have put Coffee in. They would have gave you something. They might have not had the defensive presence that Ben Simmons might give you. They might not have Bogdanovich or they might not be shooters like Bogdanovich. But when you play these players, you expect them to be productive. And obviously, Ben Simmons, playmaker, phenomenal playmaker. If this is the NBA playoffs, you got to get points on the board. It doesn't matter who you are. But other than that, Harden single-handedly carrying this Clippers team right now. Obviously, Kawhi, super great at defense, one of the best two-way players of all time. And Zubats, this Clippers team is very well constructed. I think that they might take game 2, but I mean, like I said, Jokic is Jokic. Now getting to the Pacers and the Bucks. Watching this game, I felt the Pacers' game plan worked to perfection, and that the Pacers didn't allow Giannis to facilitate the ball. That's the biggest thing the Bucks do, especially with no Dame available. It's all Giannis being able to facilitate the ball. And the Pacers forced Giannis to score. They forced him to 2011 Dirk Nowitzki single-handedly carry him on his back. Giannis couldn't facilitate. Taurean Prince wasn't there. Brook Lopez wasn't there. Rollins wasn't there. Kuzma had a Tony Snell stat line at 0-0-0 with about 20 minutes. Other than Giannis 36 and 12, Kevin Porter Jr. gave you 12, 5, and 5. AJ Green gave you 15. AJ Green's a phenomenal shooter coming off the perimeter. But as I said, without Dame, without Giannis being able to facilitate, there's no way that the Bucks are going to win this series. If their defensive game plan is to let Giannis score, don't let anybody else score. Giannis, if the Bucks want to win the series, Giannis is going to have to single-handedly put almost 50 a night in order for them to even be competitive in a match. Whereas you have Pat Connaughton, who gave you 3 points off the bench. But then when you look at the Pacers, Siakam 25 and 7, Naismith, who had 7 and 6, but his facilitating is very underrated. That's not going to go on the stat sheet. Miles Turner 19 and 5, and before this series started, I said the X factor in this game is going to be Miles Turner. How is Miles Turner going to play? We know Siakam's going to give you what he gives you. We know Matherin's going to give you his cool little 12, 13 points. You know McConnell's going to give you about 8 points with a little bit of defense, sort of. You know Nembhard's going to give you almost 20, which he had 17 today. And Halliburton, who did, I don't want to say he struggled, but he didn't give you the scoring performance you thought he was going to give you. He gave you 10, 12 assists, 7 rebounds. Phenomenal game from Halliburton. This Pacers team is just a gritty team, is the simplest way to put that. The Pacers team is so good. They obviously fell off. They fell off a little bit of a cliff during the season, but the Pacers, other than their fall off, they have been able to get back on track, and it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Because obviously the only way the Bucks are going to win this game or this series, I should say, is if they're able to get their role players. Because without the role players, they're not going to be able to do anything. And if they can't do anything, Pacers might even end this series a little quicker than it should be.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Chris from the CVC Central. Hey, I'd like to give this big shout out today to W Energy, an energy drink to help you be better. Just like on the CBC, we try to make ourselves better day to day. And if you would like to too, go ahead and make sure you use our checkout code CB Central at checkout. Shout out to y'all. Hey, peace.
And now getting into the third match of the night, we obviously had the Pistons and the Knicks. Pistons were up 8 after Jalen Brunson started 3 for 14, and you still lose the game. The Knicks would go on to a 21-0 run to end the game. You had Karl Anthony Towns 23 and 11 and 5. You had Anunoby 23 and 7. You had Jalen Brunson, who had 34 and 8. But as I said, he was 3 for 14. He ends the game 12 for 27. You have Josh Hart giving you his 13, 6, and 7, and as well as his hard snout defense. Um, Campaign lighting up the fourth quarter, three threes, jumping the Knicks up. The Knicks end up shooting 52% from the field and about 38% from three. My takeaway from this game is the Pistons' inexperience showed. When you got to the fourth quarter and it was crunch time in the playoffs, the Knicks knew what was up. Pistons didn't know what to do. You obviously have veterans on that team that have won it. You have Dennis Schroeder on that team. You have other veterans like Ivy. Even though he's still a young buck, he's a vet with no playoff experience. Cade Cunningham, who after this year is going to be a vet if you want to be technical, but no playoff experience. This is the first playoff game Cade Cunningham has been in, and it was very underwhelming to say the least. Cade Cunningham obviously finished with 21 points, 12 rebounds, I believe. No, 12 assists. Cade Cunningham came into his own in the second half, but first half he disappeared. He was not the Cade that we thought we were going to see. He just disappeared, and there's no other way around it. Tim Hardaway Jr., 19 points. Solid game from Tim Hardaway. Shot 50% from the field. Just under 50% from the field, I believe. And then you have Asar Thompson, who had 10 and 5. Obviously, Asar is not going to give you his offensive 20 the way that Amin Thompson is going to give you. But Asar Thompson is probably the better defender of the two twins, but I still would take Amin Thompson just because he's more well-rounded as a player as opposed to Asar. Tobias Harris, he was lined up the first half, 8 for 13 from the field, 4 for 5 from three, and you finish with 25 points. And then Malik Beasley gives you 50% from three, gives you 20%, 20 points off of the bench. But all it came down to was the inexperience. The inexperience in the fourth quarter clearly showed for the Pistons, and that's what made the Knicks win. Jalen Brunson caught his heater, and everybody knows once Jalen Brunson is on fire, there's no stopping him. So it'll be interesting to see how the Pistons bounce back, especially since it's hard to play in Madison Square Garden. Especially in the playoffs, it is hard to play in the Garden. It's going to be interesting to see if the Pistons can get this one. It'll be interesting, and I'll make sure to give you guys an update on that. Like I said, in the comments, let me know if you guys like this one-on-one interaction, if you like my opinion, or if you would rather just listen to both of us on the podcast. Even though this is a short recording, we'll see how it goes. And now getting into the fourth and final game of the night, the game that killed me inside. As you can tell, the Lakers looked awful. It was just as simple as that. Lakers looked awful. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Lakers started off hot. Luka had 16 after one quarter. But just watching the game, Lakers poor rebounding, poor closeouts, sloppy turnovers, and we saw that as a trend for the Lakers this year. You definitely saw it as a trend, and the Lakers are just careless with the basketball, and they have to fix that, because if not, the Timberwolves showed you they make you pay. Timberwolves shot exceptional from three, shooting 50% of three and 53% or 51% actually from the field. Whereas the Lakers shot 36% from three and 39% from the field. Rebounds killed them. Offensive rebounds, second chance points. Timberwolves killed them in second chance points. Obviously, the Timberwolves went on that 26-6 run in the second quarter. Lakers go on a 17-0 run, I believe. I believe it was 17-0 or 17-6, something like that. In the fourth quarter, But the Lakers just dug themselves too much in a hole. And when the Lakers brought it back to within 13, 11 to 13 points, Timberwolves just shot lights out from three again. Uh, the sloppy defense, careless defense, and being careless with the basketball, that's that's going to come back and bite you in the butt. If the series pans out like this, Timberwolves might win this in 5 or 6 as well. And that's no knock to the Lakers. I'm a Laker fan, as you can tell. But the way they look today looked like the Timberwolves were the 3 seed, Lakers were the 6 seed. Not to mention the Timberwolves stole this game from you. They stole game one. You never want to lose game one because now you have game two. And what if the Timberwolves steal game two from you? Now you're going into Minnesota down 2-0. So game two, very crucial for the Lakers. We had Luka Doncic with 37 and 8, shooting 50% from three. LeBron with 19 and 5, who shot 20% from three and 8 for 18 from the field. So obviously, LeBron didn't start off on in the first quarter as well. Didn't score his first points till the second quarter. Yeah, Rui with 9. And I said before the series, your X factors for this series is going to be Rui and Dorian Finney-Smith. Are they going to be able to defend their target? Are they going to be able to hit their shots when need be? Because Luka can't be the only one shooting threes. Everybody has to make their shots. Even Austin Reeves had 16 points, but shot 5 for 13 from the field, 3 for 8 from three. And when you go to the Timberwolves, Julius Randle, 16, 5, and 5, shooting about over 50% from three. You have Jaden McDaniels, 3 for 3 from three, 11 for 13 from the field, give you 25. Anthony Edwards, 22, 9 and 8. You already know he's going to give you your 20 to 30 points. But now it's the matter of being able to cancel everybody else out in the series. Similar to the Pacers game plan with Giannis, you can't let everybody else beat you. I feel like the Lakers have to zone in on letting Ant score the ball and not letting anyone else score. Because with that, as we saw in the Pacers series, it worked for them. They held Giannis, well, not held, he had almost 40, but no one else was able to contribute, which is why the Bucks fell short. And Nasri gave you 23 off the bench. He's showing why he's the reigning sixth man of the year. But going into the second game, Lakers need to regroup. Obviously, this game felt a little bit of an anomaly. Timberwolves shot 21 for 42 from three. It just felt like the Timberwolves weren't missing. That's not going to happen every game. Maybe they just caught a hot hand, or maybe it's just going to continue. We won't know until game two. I hope it doesn't continue, but like I said, we won't know. And with the Lakers being down 1 in the series now, the main goal is figure out how are you going to stop their 3-point shooting. How are you going to be able to stop Anthony Edwards from getting his 30? Obviously, prior to the playoffs, JJ Redick being able to hold Anthony Edwards to 19 points per game in the meetings that they faced them. But it's hard when you have Naz Reid hitting his threes. It's hard when you have Jaden McDaniels shooting perfect. It's hard when you have Julius Randle going into the paint. And that just goes back to the lazy defense. The Lakers defense was abysmal today, and I'm calling them out on that. I'm calling the LA Lakers out on that. Your paint defense, interior defense, perimeter defense, easy, was so horrendous. Getting back on in transition very late. Standing in the paint, there was 3-4 defensive 3 violations called in that game. I don't even remember, but it was very abysmal to watch, and that was probably the worst the Lakers looked in a while. Hopefully they can bounce back, and they need game two. It's a must get in game two because Minnesota is not a pushover to play in. It's not like going to going to a weaker home crowd. A weak home crowd that kind of comes to my mind is the Sacramento Kings. Like, no disrespect to the Kings, but I feel like they're one of the more weaker home crowd advantages. Even though I've personally been to Sacramento, and it's obviously a great home crowd, but in terms of the NBA, it's one of the weaker home crowds in my opinion. But Minnesota is one of those top home crowds you don't want to go to, especially being down 2-0 in the series. Because if Minnesota gets game three, or you get game three 2-1, and then they go up to 3-1, that's what you don't want. So, biggest thing for the Lakers right now is zero in on Anthony Edwards. Don't let him facilitate. If he's going to score, let him score. Like I said, it worked with the Pacers. But that means everybody else has to stay committed to their defensive assignment. Too many people just sagging off of Nas Reed, sagging off of DiVincenzo, sagging off of McDaniels, that allows the open threes to happen. And I was getting pissed watching the game. I feel like I counted 6 times where they just let Nas Reed shoot an open three. Late closeouts, slow on defense. It was just very lazy defense all around. But I'm sure JJ Redick is going to hit the film room and just see why and where they messed up. And with that being said, that's just going to conclude this little rant for the NBA playoffs. This is only the first night, obviously. If you guys want more, please tune in. I'll be uploading more. There should be an episode out tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, Sunday, for the other half of the brackets that we'll be playing. But that being said, it's just me, so I don't have my co-host here with me. But hey, this is CV Central. I'm your host Jay, and like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our weekly podcast. I'll see you guys later.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm your host, Chris, from the CVC Central podcast. Today, I'd like to give a big shout out to W Energy, an energy drink to help you be better. Just like on the CVC, we try to make ourselves better day to day. And if you would like to be better like us, make sure you use our code CVC Central. Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm your boy, Chris, from the CVC Central podcast. Today, I'd like to give a shout out to W Energy, an energy drink to help you be better. Make sure y'all use our code. Fuck! I was on my way. Fuck. Okay, last one. This is the one.